Je suis scandalisé très bien pour, j'aime fatigué. I mean, I've got my French game on, people. I mean, in other words, one is so scandalized by the barrage of scandal reports that it is just tiring. To the extent that our political leaders are seen bragging over who owns a scandal factory and whose factory was much more productive than the other. Like, who pretended the most to fight corruption. Basically, NDC says, we are very good at pretending to investigate and punish corrupt appointees. NPP says, no. You can't beat us to the pretense game because you know why? We know. We have the mayor. NDC says, no. If you have the mayor, then we have the moon. I mean, NDC says, NPP has discovered corruption in commercial quantities. NPP says, nah, NDC, your government fought for the liberation and independence of corruption in Ghana. It's tiring. It's sickening. It's just sad. But what's sadder than Sadajida, Bust the NYA, the PPA, the NVO, $48 billion Milord contract. That story. Could these be sadder than the story of the killing of some 5 Nigerians in a country said to be at war with itself, South Africa? Well, this follows a fresh wave of violence against African immigrants and foreign-owned businesses. Asante Kotoko fans, they call it Xey-No-2-Foe-Bia, but the original word is xenophobia. Look, it's been a tough week, really, because before these two stories, there was this story of arming police officers, including MTTD officers, weapons, basically, after some motorists, according to reports, shot dead 2 MTTD officers at Budum Pole. Now, before we could hear anything, some police officers had shot dead a man in Kwabeng. According to reports, the police claimed that the man was deranged and was coming with a machete. The family say, hey, who told you our brother is a bodam chese? The whole thing has been pinso. Bet, in all, it appears to me Julius Malema's message, quoted unquote him, stop that nonsense, it ends today, should help us end things. If not, our president and the ex-president will continue having what onlookers say is quickly handshakes. This is Backpage, people. We're on City TV, my friends. My name is Caleb Kudah. Happy to have you and to serve you the news 10 on its head. Welcome back. We're on City TV. This is Backpage. Make no mistake, we are in Ghana, but definitely we're concerned about what goes on in South Africa involving our fellow human beings. So if you don't know, if you don't get all the razzmatazz that comes with the whole xylophone of so-called xenophobia in South Africa, watch this.
Looting and violence spread across several neighborhoods in South Africa's major cities of Pretoria and Johannesburg on Monday. It follows a spate of overnight attacks which appeared to target foreign-owned shops. At least 50 shops were looted and burned in the southern Johannesburg suburbs of Malvern and Jepstown. Police fired rubber bullets at looters as burnt cars were stranded on the roads.
For me, it's pure criminality, people looting and all that, and using that as a xenophobia. But for now, there is nothing that has sparked any form of this conflict between South Africans and the foreign nationals. So we're dealing with criminality rather than xenophobia at the present moment.
That was the South African Police Minister, Becky Cele. Brown Becky Wakasapa. So for him, criminals have created chaos in order to loot and later call it xenophobia. Wow, what a strategy. I saw one guy, all he stole was a bottle of Sprite. Like, you risk your life that much to go steal Sprite? Well, some say it points to the state of inequality and poverty among black South Africans. However, there appears to be more to what Bra Becky says.
Monday's violence followed similar incidents in Pretoria last week, in which protests led to taxi drivers saw several foreign-owned shops looted and torched. Such violence breaks out sporadically in South Africa, where many nationals blame foreigners for high unemployment, particularly in manual labor.
So this story started like most small-scale businesses. First a startup, and then it scales up, right? So yes, in Nigeria there were reprisals. People attacked MTN shops, looted ShopRite, and yeah, I saw someone steal mosquito coil. Mosquito coil. Indeed, Nigerians are livid. How will South Africans attack their nationalities? Why will they attack their nationals for the same cool life they harmoniously live here in Ghana? How? Burner Boy, he's burning within him, vowing never to visit South Africa until the man some Ghanaians call Cyril Ramaphosa. Actually, his name is Cyril Ramaphosa. He's president of South Africa. Burner Boy says until he performs a miracle, he is not going to South Africa because he has suffered xenophobic attacks before. That's what he's saying. Now, Tiwa Savage. Ole, ole, see him still in my heart. Oh, yeah. She says that xenophobia has been there for a very long time. Yeah. So really, go tell Malema, go tell the Zuma, and not go die for that. I mean, Galileo. Yeah, basically, she has boycotted a concert she has there. Now, guess what? The president says he's so passionate about resolving the matter. He addressed the nation in a passionate broadcast. Cyril Ramaphosa.
I've directed the Minister of Police to have a meeting at hostels with the Indunas, because this violence is now mutating and taking different forms that represent themselves in a way that we do not want to see in South Africa, where communities seem to be attacking one another. So we want this to stop, and I want it to stop immediately.
Now, this is how the world reacted to Mr. Ramaphosa's passionate speech. After this address, some analysts say, look, there is a way to convey emotions of concern even if you don't care. They say Ramaphosa could have just phoned the king of teleprompters, John Mahama. John Mahama actually sent a tweet that got South Africans thinking that he was Julius Malema. Julius Malema, the solid orator, isn't it?
Africans, I've never seen you doing that to a Chinese. I've never seen you doing that to a white person who doesn't have papers. I've never seen you do that to an Indian without papers. But once they say it's an African, because you hate yourself, because white people taught you to hate yourself, you kill other Africans. Stop that nonsense. It ends today. We must unite as Africans.
Too many savings in the bank. Definitely solid orator right there. But guess fear, Malema will be giving quotable quotes. You will give him the presidential seat and all. Then we will see a Robert Mugabe incarnate. But you know, for all current affairs issues, the best place you can get insights and details, not possible, just say on point, is on Point of View. There was this guy. He's a Cameroonian security analyst who has lived in South Africa for more than 10 years. He's a young guy, Charlie. His analysis on the xenophobia on Point of View, it was just fabulously, no, without phobia, it was fabulous.
Let me step out of your question and tell you, for instance, that the unemployment rate of 29% is not the worst in the African continent. Cameroon, for instance, has an unemployment rate of about 35%. You are not seeing the sort of violence in Cameroon, and you're not seeing the Cameroonians hating on Nigerians who control the auto industry. I think, for instance, that unemployment rate is similar to the one which you have, for instance, in Ghana, but you're not seeing the sort of violence which you have there. Thus, it goes back to my initial point that it's a country at war with itself, and Ramaphosa has inherited a country where his party has made promises to the people, and right now the reality is that they cannot deliver on those promises. And thus, the best thing then to do is to scapegoat on someone.
Wow. And he's so young, like very collected. I mean, and some people too, they start so well, then they turn PR consultants for abuses and scandals, title holders on Facebook. Anyway, so the president of the good people of Niger business traders in Ghana, he has been explaining why, as I just said, maybe I'll bet to be always Nigerians, are target of this kind of attack. The president.
Like 3 major tribes in Nigeria, they are unique in their own way of doing business, and everywhere they are, they will prosper because they know what to do. Business is all about knowing what to do and how to do it. And before you know anything, you have to learn, you have to be trained. It's unlike other African people who, if you go to school, you want to become boss of your own. Nigerians are not like that.
Oh God, this your mouth, no, this your mouth. Anyway, that's the end of the xenophobic reading, South African xenophobic reading. But dear South Africans, we hope that you listen to your own.
Because you hate yourself, because white people taught you to hate yourself, you kill other Africans. Stop that nonsense. It ends today.
Indeed, hopefully it ends today. And great Nigeria people, greatest greatest the Ghanaians don't understand. Anyway, let's come home to a stinker at the National Youth Authority, NYA. So the president these days, he's better associated with the movie Terminator 1. He has terminated the appointment of the CEO of the authority together with his 2 deputies. Details still a bit sketchy. There is a reason why the Terminator uses silent guns, right? It must explain why the sacrament was allegedly done at night. I'm not sure about that though. Anyway, the little we know for now is that there were some procurement breaches. You remember that we have complained about street lights and how they are non-functioning is a disaster? Good. Wait, before then, before I continue, let me confess, sometimes as a journalist, when you're highlighting societal ills, sometimes it's painful because the answer becomes an avenue for someone to become rich without lasting solutions to the people you hope duty bearers will serve in response to your story. Now, we hear an amount of 1.8 million cedis was allotted for use in street light repairs training or something like that. And plenty matters come as a result of it, Charlie. Guess what? The reactions of politicians has been like, as always, the blame game. Like Al-Hassan Suhini, he says this government, long before any factory will be established under the One District, One Factory program, they had established a corruption factory,
We never have the opportunity of discussing exhaustively one scandal before another one breaks.
Okay.
I mean, you have just tabled NYA, yet in my head, I'm wondering what has happened to PPA. I'm wondering what has happened to the GRA, rent issues. I'm wondering about so many other things, the busts, if there is a factory somewhere producing these scandals, please, they should give us some time to finish discussing one exhaustively and perhaps even find resolution to them before, one is generated.
Hey, this man is wicked. Corruption factory is saying, but guys, where could the corruption factory be located? I don't think Honorable Payazena Majida has that information. If anything at all, I doubt he agrees such a factory even exists to even think it to be at the Jubilee House. I don't think so.
It has. That's something. We are discussing.
We don't know.
No, but I'm not discussing this matter. I'm discussing, first of all, the politicization
of corruption.
Corruption or alleged corruption that was just done by, and he speaks about 1D, 1F, and all of those. That's what I want to address first. And you see, one thing is clear, that at this moment we are tightening the screws, and We have a leader whose eyes is on the ball.
So this is how things will go up and down, sir, while Kenke sellers reduce the size of the staple on our blind side without anyone noticing. My brother, very soon transport fares will also increase. System number yes too much. And while we are at it, admission into SHS due to the wonderful free SHS program, according to the Education Minister, has increased from 90,000 from last academic year to 181,000 this academic year. Even before the Kufuado babies graduate to uni, accommodation crisis remain a major challenge that our university authorities seem to toast to every year.
I'm currently in front of an uncompleted building. This one is supposed to have been put up by the Mensa Saba Hall. This uncompleted building has been here for years. This building was started years ago but has still not been completed. We're not really sure how much people it can accommodate, but this, if it was completed, could have served a good purpose to deal with accommodation issues here at the University of Ghana. So right behind me is one of the projects under the African Integrous deal. This facility can house at least 1,000 people when completed, but has been abandoned, of course, because of the current issues around that deal.
Oh yeah, that's the situation on the University of Ghana campus, for example. People were asked to pay as much as 4,000 cedis for rooms they were told were no longer available online after they held vigils on the internet. But guess what? The university says BNI is investigating the matter. Yeah, interestingly, not far from the University of Ghana is UPSA, University of Professional Studies. I think Anado has renamed them, or was it the governing council? We'll find out. They are still using UPSA, I don't know why. But they are struggling to ward off a man they say is a land guard from taking a land they intend to start accommodation facility on by October this year, only next month.
And there was a lot of firing that took place from a pistol. So, indeed, the case was made at the police station, and this Jato shows up, and he says that he is here on the authorization of the Minister of Lands and Forestry, and that he is here on the authority of government to come and evict UPSA from the land. Meanwhile, this land we are talking about, this land was registered far back as 2006.
Well, the man in question, the Jato man, says he is not a land guard. Rather, he is authorized by the state to reclaim state lands.
I'm in charge of government reclamation. State lands acquired by executive instrument. Any state land that has been acquired and has been encroached on by individuals or organizations, I'm in charge to identify and reclaim the land.
Okay, so granted, it's state land and not for the university. What can the state use the land for, given its proximity to the academic discourse communities around the place at a time like this? Anyway, a businessman in the area who says his wife was assaulted by the man who claims to be authorized to reclaim state lands is not happy.
My wife walked out. She was talking on the phone, giving somebody a direction. You understand? Then this guy, what's his name? They call him Jato or whoever.
This man too, if you know somebody, you wouldn't know. Anyway, Charlie, this is Backpage on City TV, where we turn the news on its head. When we return, a young man's quest to be a #Y ambassador turns murky as naval officers picked him up. The allegation is that he was beaten. Was he? We'll find out. Also, President Kufuado met ex-President John Mahama at the Kofi Annan Memorial Lectures. People say their handshake, it doesn't represent the peaceful nature of the man they sought to celebrate. Stay with me.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody. So, Ghanaian great Kofi Annan was remembered and honored a year after his passing away here in Ghana. The president was there. He actually talked about free SHS at the ceremony. Yes, he did. Many wondered what free SHS has got to do with the occasion. But me, I liked it. You have to keep rehashing. Also, there was a sword cutting for a memorial, basically a statue, a bust in his honor. The president cut the sword. Now, that one too, people say, oh, couldn't we have built the thing within the last year and then commission it as it were? well. The best part of the whole ceremony, perhaps, was this quickly sort of handshake between the president and his political rival, John Mahama. This reminds me of Wendy Shea and somebody, right? I'm sorry. The video itself is just as quickly as the handshake, right? That look on John Mahama's face, though, I mean, after the handshake, it's so rare. I've never seen John Mahama like this. Look, let's all continue to be inspired by the legend of Kofi Annan, okay? Now let's talk about something else that is at the heart of development and extremely dear to the good people of Bongo and Namong. Funny enough, it's linked to sword cutting.
The Bongo Balungu Bridge connects residents in communities such as Longo, Balungu, Sambolgo, and Namo to the Bongo Township. But the edges of the bridge have been washed away, rendering the 8-kilometer Bongo Balungu Namo road inaccessible, especially during this rainy season. In an attempt to bring relief to residents in this area, President Akufo-Addo in July 2018 cut sword for the construction of the bridge. The construction of the bridge was awarded on contract to Damit Enterprise and is expected to be completed by end of 2019. But the project has stalled for several months now, making it difficult for residents to access the Bongo Township.
So basically, the president cut sword for that project. Anyway, the situation is so bad that not even Bongo slay queens are spared. Bongo slay queens. So, on behalf of Bongo Slay Queens, Mr. President, we plead with you, help have the bridge completed because, not only Slay Queens are suffering, even the journalist himself.
Residents here are accusing the contractor for abandoning the project. They are, however, calling on government and the authorities that be to fix the bridge for certain ways. I am Frederick Awuni, Bongo District.
Frederick Awuni, you know Nanado is listening government, right? Yeah, after filming you and filming you well, I am so sure that he will do the bridge for you, okay? Yeah, so, but I want to show you something. But before then, we saw a story online that intrigued us. Professor Ransford Jampo, you know him, right? Solid associate professor with a lot of chutzpah, right? Yeah, man. He is reported to have said that, quote, Ghana has been reduced, Ghana's democracy has been reduced to misdemocracy, where we are practicing our time to chop democracy. Our time to chop democracy. Some people say, oh, but Prof, why you they point in another so? We thought you'd be one of us, you know. As in, you get me right? But then some other people say, wait, where are his former colleagues at the Department of Political Science, like the boss man and the dark one, And the people say, see, I think one is deputy, he's seen things, while the other is on parliamentary something easy. So he does say that thing, and the DJ come inside, you know, the job time, no, I'm married. And people are saying me, I'm just saying what people are saying, you know. What do you think? Is it really our time to chop democracy? And really, are academics part of this? This is a question for you. Now, the war against indiscipline, you know, you remember some time ago, someone recorded an undisciplined policeman and said, I will send you to City TV. He brought it, right? And I admit also, I encouraged you on this show, you should do same when you see any officer who is not on his way, like in just it's not an emergency on duty or something, but they are just doing something. Now, emboldened by all the advocacy, you know, there's this hard guy. He see a naval truck and he decides to ask them, they drive, can be styles, you know, it go film them well. See, they were driving on the verges of the road.
When we got to Afco Junction, opposite the Total Filling Station, the same thing happened. So I pulled out my phone to film. When I started filming, the naval officers saw me and then stopped their truck, got down, 5 of them, started questioning me, what right do I have to film them? I told them, no, if what you are doing is right, that was the only question I asked them. If what you are doing is right, what is your worry about me filming you? They asked me to get out of the taxi, which I resisted, and then 5 of them dragged me, threw me out into their bucket, asked me to lie down in their truck, which I complied with because at that moment, all of them were carrying weapons with them. So they took me to their yard at Temanu Town, took me to the back of the yard, where in a bush, asked me to lie down in the bush. I resisted, I was not going to lie down. One came from behind, just hit me hard, and I fell on my knee. The second person came, also hit me again. Now I should lie down with my face in the bush. I've watched City TV documentary on the war against indiscipline. That is why I saw the need to also help support the system.
Oh, Charlie. Well, so, I mean, we went to the Eastern Naval Command, and the commanding operations officer is Commander Isaac Mahama Abu. He says the gentleman wasn't beaten.
Sometimes when civilians see armed men in vehicle responding to emergencies, they should respect that because it is in the interest of the nation. We are not just moving for moving sake. So whatever that you want to report, if it has to do with somebody who is indisciplined on the road, let it be so. But not when people are armed in a military truck responding to an emergency, then you want to make it as if they are indisciplined on the road. Like I said, we speak to our people. That is why they didn't even touch him. They didn't do anything to him. They just said, okay.
In fact, as we got to the Eastern Naval Base now, I saw the truck and imagined armed naval officers in it. You know. I was like, hey, wow. Me alone, they go where police know I'm not going to try. But honestly, people are saying, is it that you just your man took the guy from the street, took him to the base and said, oh, how are you? Where's your phone? Delete it. And they say, bye-bye. You know, Ghanaians can talk, but yeah, that's just the whole thing. I mean, the security people may be on duty, they may be on emergency. So as much as we want to do the war against indiscipline, maybe you should use some discernment and then see how you can do it. People, this is all time will allow us for. Let's make time, same time next week. My name is Caleb Kudah, and this is Backpage on City TV. Keep watching.